So I'm sitting here with Daniel Dorn, trainer for the football team. We're going to go ahead and get started with this interview. I don't even know why I did that because I'm going to transcribe this anyway. What collegiate sports are you currently involved in?
I'm a student athletic trainer for the Clemson football team.
And did you receive any scholarship for your involvement?
I receive it works its way up from you get nothing your freshman year, and then it builds up sophomore, junior year. You get a little bit sophomore, a little bit more junior, and then senior year you get full scholarship.
Okay. In your opinion, is it realistic for some of the players on the team that you're involved in currently at Clemson to play professionally in the next few years?
I mean, obviously on the football team, there's a lot of next level talent. More of the skilled players. You got Mike Williams, you got Deshaun Watson, you got some of the defensive guys, J-Ron Curse, Mackenzie Alexander. I mean, there's definitely some skill there that can play at the next level.
Do you feel they could obtain a comfortable living if they are to play professionally?
I feel like certain ones, like the wide receivers, would definitely be able to. They seem to hold up better in the NFL and play for longer. So I feel like they definitely could make a living.
How long do you think a lot of them would have to play professionally before they're stable financially for their lives?
I would say at least probably about 8 years, 10 years at least in the league would be a pretty good estimate as to being able to be set for the rest of your life as far as making not only the money they make during that time, but the connections they make throughout that time.
Do you know if any of those athletes that plan to go and play professionally have a backup career plan in case their career in the professional realm ends early?
I think some would. It just depends on the person, honestly, and their level of intelligence and how they could do other things. I think a lot of them would end up coaching if they did something else.
What's your stance on the rules behind some of the professional sports, like football, that require an athlete to play a minimum number of years of collegiate level before they're eligible to play professionally?
I think that's a good thing because it really emphasizes them to at least get a start on an education. That way, even if they do decide to leave early, that opens the door for them to be able to come back later and finish up their degree if they so choose.
Do you think it helps them to prepare for the professional level? Like going straight from high school to the professional level is a very large jump in skill level.
I think that's just too big of a jump. Honestly, I think making them go to college for a year or two first is a better option.
Personally, do you feel adequately compensated for what you do within your collegiate sport?
I do feel compensated well enough. I think what we get is fair. And I think when it's all said and done, it ends up being worth it in the end for as much work as we do.
Do you think the players are adequately compensated for their contributions to the school and for what they do for the team?
I think they're very well compensated in the fact that they not only get certain amounts of money as far as per diem goes for meals and stuff, but also just the other general perks like bowl gifts and bowl money and stuff like that if you make it to a bowl game. I really think that they really get compensated well enough.
Do you think student athletes are exploited at all for their likeness and the marketing that they provide for the schools? Or do you know personally any players that do feel that way?
I don't. I don't think anybody that I can think of on our team comes to mind. In that sense, I don't know anybody like that. I don't think that happens. I mean, I'm sure it happens around the country, but as far as we're concerned, I don't think that happens.
What are some ways you feel the schools could do a little bit better of a job to compensate their student athletes and make those that do feel taken advantage of more comfortable in their situations at their prospective schools?
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of these guys are famous around the country, and as far as especially for an 18 to 21-year-old, 22-year-old kid, I think that schools should just keep doing what they're doing because they are compensated very well, and I think they should definitely have mentors around them, which they do, to be able to kind of coach them through all these situations. And I think our team especially has a really good setup for that.
Do you think student athletes should or could receive a salary from schools as if they were employees?
I think to a certain degree that would be possible. I think that everybody should be compensated equally, no matter their skill level. I think that just the amount of time they put into their prospective sports, it just kind of makes it almost impossible for them to have a job and get any type of other type of income. Which, as a college student, it helps. But they already get full-ride scholarship and everything, so I mean they don't have to worry about school. Most of them do, but I think if they were to get compensated as an employee, everyone should be equal throughout.
Do you think, or do you feel some players who come into college who know full well that they intend to and they have realistic expectations to play professionally? Do they, like people like Deshaun or Sammy or DeAndre Hopkins? Do you think they see a smaller value in their education compared to some others?
Again, I think it depends on the person. I think, speaking of past Clemson greats such as C.J. Spiller, he stayed and fulfilled his degree and got and graduated and got his diploma. It all is relative to the person you're talking about. Some I definitely think would kind of belittle their education when they know that they're going to play pro as long as they can stay healthy. But it just depends on the person.
If there were an alternative education the athletes could receive, especially the ones that fully intend to play at the professional level as early as possible, one that was maybe more centered on aspects of like physical conditioning and the knowledge of it, the knowledge and theory behind their sport itself, coaching, leadership roles, just things that would teach them something along the role of that. Would that be something you feel would be helpful for collegiate athletes who do not have the intention to really finish their degree before turning professional?
I think that there should probably be majors more, centered around that. There are classes like sports management classes and coaching classes that are available to them now, but as far as that goes, it's not really a major they can take. They just take certain classes. I don't see the problem with them having a major where they could actually go and learn all there is to know about their prospective sports, especially. I think that would help them in their sport and after they finish their college career.
So like those classes that are similar to that could become a little more organized and improve upon them and add some more that maybe are even focused more to their positions so that they would have an alternative. Say if a wide receiver suffers a career-ending injury, he's got classes teaching him how to coach public speaking, and he's studied the theory behind the wide receiving position in football in general. And that way, if he were to suffer an injury, there could be a backup plan of, he's studied it and he has a degree in how to coach wide receiver at football.
I think that as far as that goes, I think that classes could be made available to them that would help. And also, like I said earlier, the mentors they have around them could also help with that. But as far as like an official, something that says, okay, I've had education in this department, I think classes should be more available to them for that.
So you think that could provide a very good backup plan to collegiate athletes who have suffered severe injuries early on in their careers, or really collegiate level or professional level who get out of the professional level earlier than they were expecting?
Could you read the question one more time?
Sorry. So do you think that could be a good backup plan for athletes who suffer severe injuries that could potentially end their careers at the college or professional level if it's early on?
Yeah, I think that could be a good backup plan, especially injuries are freak accidents, and you never know when one's going to happen, so it always is good to have a backup plan as far as that goes, and something they love as far as like with their respective sports. There's nothing better than that to be able to have as a backup plan.
Do you think classes like that could also help elevate their level of play within their sport at the collegiate level as well?
Yeah, I think at least half the battle is understanding the sport that you're playing and being a student of the game. I think that these classes would help them in their respective sports with the cerebral part of the game, which is, like I said, it's a big part of the battle. It's not just all physical.
Do you think would offering such a program, perhaps one that could be completed in 3 years or 4, just depending on the level of depth you want to go into or your respective position in that sport, do you think that would hurt the academic reputation of your school?
I don't think it would hurt the academic standing of the school, considering that the majors that they do take, a lot of them that do think they're going to go play professionally may not take it as seriously as if they would if it was, part of their sport as well. I think that they would take it more seriously, and I do not think it would degrade their degree at all or the standing of the school.
All right, well, Daniel Dorn, I'd like to thank you for your time with your interview, and I appreciate your perspective. I think that's very helpful for the information we're looking for.
All right, thanks for your time.